Hey,
Hey, what's up, buddy?
here we are. Here we are. We're both in the frozen tundra, right?
Yeah, it was 13 below zero for Southern Colorado. I don't think it's ever been that cold since I've been here for 12 years.
Wow, that is pretty awesome. It was. We got. I guess for us, like I think the coldest ever in Texas was 24 or something like that, and it was 7, right? Which is minus 10 Celsius. So for me, that's in the daddy's cold range. I was not a happy camp. I'm sipping my tea. We just lost the water. As I mentioned to you off the camera, right? So it's like, okay, well, there we go. It's all good. I got my tea. I got my whiskey. We got lots of food, some bananas. That's going to go a long way, right?
Yeah. As long as you got steaks, you're good, buddy.
Yeah, yeah, right. Exactly. And I got a pool full of water, so we can be like the old days. It's like going to the well, right?
When is it supposed to warm up down there for you guys?
Uh, I don't know. They keep telling me it's just a day, another day, and it's been that way since Sunday. So I think the official forecast that I've seen is tomorrow it gets to 34 at about 2 p.m. So it finally hit 32 right now, so it's starting to melt. Um, but that's not going to fix. Like a lot of people, we've been super lucky. So like we had no internet for 2 hours, right? So. But there's a lot of people whose houses are flooded. My friend's house, the tree fell over from the next door neighbor right on his water mains.
Ooh, really?
Water right inside, flooded his whole downstairs, and can't get anywhere to get equipment to fix it. He finally got out today to go do stuff. So it's just a kind of a cluster for everybody. But
Yeah.
so anyway, it's all it's storm in a teacup, literally, right? So we'll move on, right? So, look, thanks for getting together. This is my first time to talk, interview a publisher. I feel kind of privileged and special.
You could have done better, buddy. No.
Oh, hey, I take them where I can get them, Dave. So, but usually, when I do these things, I do a deep dive with a designer, and we talk about, starting from scratch with the design and the maps and counters and the idea behind the design, all that sort of fun stuff. But I thought with you, I really want to talk to you actually, and I know you and I have spoken off, so everyone knows. Yeah, off camera, David and I speak all the time, and if I'm pissed off about stuff or not happy with a rule because friggin' Devin changes the rules. Hey, Devin. then I do that with David one-on-one or with Devin one-on-one, and we have a great, I would call it a working relationship. You listen and take in what I have to say, and then calmly ignore it and move on. And
Hey,
continue.
many of the changes you see, you can blame yourself for, buddy.
Yeah, I know that's all my fault, right? Yeah. So anyway, but it's the first time you and I have actually had a one-on-one
Yeah,
live,
yeah, it is.
live chat with folks. So I appreciate that. And what I wanted to do, I thought would be interesting because the gaming space is changing a lot, and you're one of the architects of that change in some ways, with your crossover crossover with. I'm going to need a drink, aren't I? Because I can talk. But your crossover with physical and digital, I think, is pretty interesting, and you're one of the, not the first, right, but certainly the first in a way that I think is unique. And so I wanted to talk about that, and I also wanted to talk about what you think about Kickstarter and P500s and how you get stuff ready to say, hey, come buy my stuff, right? Because you're very different than GMT. You're very different than Thin Red Line Games or Hollandspiel or Clash of Arms or any of those. You have your own model there. So let's talk about I want to talk about those two things and see where that leads us.
All right, buddy.
So tell us about the idea behind the digital aspects, because it's not just a game. You're also creating content that will allow people to play with Vassal, but also with Tabletop Simulator. But you're still getting them to buy physical goods too.
Yeah, I mean, for those who don't know, I was the original founder of Matrix Games, which is a strategy war game company. And I did that for about 10, 12 years, and took a 2 or 3 year hiatus, and bought Lock and Load. And I really don't like board games in the sense of production wise. I always found computer games much more easier to do. Right. Whenever you make a mistake, it's much easier to go back and just make a patch and boom, it's fixed.
Right.
Board games, it's a lot. It's very unforgiving of a mistake. And I'm very good at making mistakes. So, the two don't go together very well sometimes. But my whole idea from the get-go, even when I bought Lock and Load, was to make computer games with the support of the board game. What I have found, in not all cases, but most cases actually, most programmers are not game designers any more than most game designers are programmers. Now, of course, there's always that optional, line in there.
Yeah.
But if you give a game designer or computer programmer a game system and say, here's the rules, okay, where somebody knows the rules by heart, the programmer learns it, can ask questions, and then program it, you tend to get a lot better design, okay? And when you're playing war games, I had an opportunity to do work for other, let's just say, much bigger companies, and they want 3D this, and they want to, special effects of that, and backflips, and war games don't need that.
Right.
And I've been playing war games. I've been playing board games since high school. Did a small internship at Victory Games, enjoyed that. But even there, Mark Herman and Avalon Hill, well, I guess Victory Games at the time, but they were taking their board games and translating them to the computer. There's Wooden Ships and Iron Men, if you remember.
Right.
Third Reich, Golf Strike, they're all computer games for those. For today's standards, they're horrible. Okay, they just didn't have the ability to do them.
12-bit or whatever, 16-bit.
Yeah. And so I just felt that was a much better way to go, because how many games do you own, Kev, that you've never played? And you probably play more games than the average gamer.
No, it just looks that way. It's all magic. But I've probably played half my games that I currently own, and 90% of the ones I don't have anymore. However many that is, I don't really know. But I probably have more PC games that I own that I haven't played as well.
Well, yeah, because those are always ready to go, though. So that's the difference.
Yeah, they're ready to go punch a button, right? And off we go, right? So
I guess the philosophy is, my very first game company was called SGP. For those who look it up, it didn't do well. I was out of high school, learning my chops, I guess. But the very first game we did was a game called At the Gates of Moscow. Okay, got horrible ratings, so just don't write me any fan mail, guys. Okay, I know. That game was a board game that you could play by itself. We made a computer game of it, and the computer game you could play, I guess you would call it more like a double blind now, where one guy can be in one room with the game, another guy could be in another room, and the computer game was able to print out an intelligence report. And tell you where its front pieces were. So you're kind of playing, like I said, blind without a person. And it was an elaborate idea at the time. I just thought it was something cool to do.
Right.
So I guess it comes from all the way back there, right out of high school when I started. And the company's motto says it all: play the game, not the rules. We want you to play the games. If you're playing the games, then we've succeeded.
Right. So with the board games, you've got great systems to play off that have lots of narrative and great artwork, and they're thematic and all that sort of good stuff. And you had guys push out Vassal modules, which are great. Kind of everybody does that. But the tabletop stuff, tabletop simulator, and then the actual PC, I shouldn't call them PC games, the actual digital versions of Lock and Load, etc. You can play those games without the rules. Sorry, you can play those games without the scenarios, because you can just load up a scenario. But with tabletop simulator, you got to buy a scenario book, but you get the rule book for free, and you can work it out yourself. So you've got this interesting split of bits that people buy and or get for free. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of, if you look at everything we've done, we're just, when I bought Lock and Load, I mean, Mark Walker is he's a great designer. Okay?
Sure.
His ideas are great, good. Could be a little cleaner, maybe a little, tighter together, but that's basically it. And when we did this, we felt that tabletop simulator, how do we give the game to the customer and still be able to make some money? Because I got these bankers and investors, and they're very keen on that. They're very upset when you're giving it away. What are you doing? So tabletop simulator, each of our modules have one scenario in it. Doesn't matter what game it is. Okay, and the rules are always a free download. Okay, so you can try the rules out or read the rules. There's audio books for the rules. There's PDFs. There's Kindles. And then of course we have the online videos too. We're trying to make it as accessible as possible.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys came to me and said, I don't have room for a board game anymore. I'm buying a board game so I can just get the scenarios to play it on Vassal, which is how this started really. $100 for a rule book, because that's what you're talking about. The game's $100 or more or $80. So I wrestled with that for a long time with the team, and Devin was a great help. I really thank my blessings for having Devin and Blackwell and Darren. Those guys, make the team rock. It really does.
Right.
So we came up with the idea. We make a companion book. Well, we ended up calling it a companion book.
Right.
It's the same book of scenarios that are in the box game, but it's just the scenarios. And then we said, well, a lot of the gamers playing the digital game wanted to know what the charts and tables were, because you don't get to see them behind, the computer game. So we put all the charts and tables in there. We put all the skill cards in there. Then we decided, let's put the cost sheet for the battle generator in there. So basically, we're saying, look, you're buying this for $30. Consider it a digital license. At this point, you can take that book and play every scenario on Tabletop Simulator, have all the charts and tables, all the scenarios, and you can also go to Vassal. Really, Tabletopia is a little not up to enough snuff to do it well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But that's what's behind this. So we want to get the game in your hands, and I feel if gamers get the games in their hands, if they like it, they'll buy it.
Right.
Okay. So.
Yeah. And so that kind of leads me to another question. So have you seen? So you and I talked about this. I remember several months ago you talked about when you redid the charts and came up with a little flip chart idea that kind of followed a sort of derivative of the ASL. Someone came up with an ASL,
something like that.
Yeah, whatever that thing is. Yeah, so that's all good. I don't really know ASL, so can't really talk to it. But I'd seen a picture of it, and then I saw you bring yours out, and I was asking you, well, why were you putting so much effort into doing odds tables and stuff like that? And you had an answer for that, and that's fine. That a lot of people just don't want to do the math, and that's cool. But my question was, that struck me that these people were playing the games digitally and not physically. Have you seen many people come across and say, I want to buy the physical game now? Does that happen very often? Or does it go the other way where they go, oh, I've got the game, I'm going to go buy the digital version? What happens more?
Well, you definitely had more people buying the digital game because of the board game.
Okay.
But we did pick up a lot of computer players that didn't know what it was.
Right.
And it had to be explained to them. Why do we have counters? Why aren't we just using some 3D animation? But a lot of the public really knew what it was and told the other people. So I would say you are getting crossovers. Steam originally went to ban some of our releases because I linked it to the store, the board games, and the person who did it didn't understand. I said, listen, I'll take the links off if it's bad, but it's for our board game, which this is based on. We don't sell a digital copy of the game outside of Steam. And they said, oh, okay. And they checked, and the management said, no, that's fine then. So yeah, there's crossover. You got to realize you've got thousands of people playing lock and load tabletop. So you had no computer games until it released. I will say that the sales of the digital games are beyond more than quadrupled my original guess, a high guess. So, and I think a lot of it has to do with COVID. Don't get me wrong. People are stuck in the house.
Yeah.
And I also think that the price point we did, people like.
Right. Now, just remind me, because as usual, I do a whole lot of preparation for this interview. So what are the prices for the digital versions of games?
Oh, you're gonna put, okay, I believe.
See,
yeah.
Hey, David.
Little help here, buddy. No, I'm looking them up right now because I really don't remember.
It's like $9.99 or $15.99 or something like that, I want to say.
The actual, of course, it won't tell me because I already own it. That's nice. I believe it's $4.99 for the core game, which is the entire engine, and all the engine, everything the code ever does is on the core game. You get, I think it's 2 Vietnam and 2 Normandy scenarios.
Right.
And then each battle pack, oh, it is $4.99. It's easy. It's early access, so it's on sale currently. And then each of the battle packs right now are, let's see what it says. The $9.99 it looks like. So, and with the exception of David Villainy, which is also $4.99.
Right. So that's pretty cool, though, right? I mean, in terms of incremental, if we look at it as a business, and not to piss off all the players who are here, but you look at it at a business, you've got guys and girls who are paying between $70 and $100 for a physical copy of a game, and then they want to play with their friends. They can go do that on Vassal for free, or they can get on the digital version and play live opposed, right?
Right.
And for $4.99 for the base and $9.99 thereabouts for the other modules. So that's a 10% bump of revenue per customer for you per module.
Let me play the math a little bit. Take Normandy, we'll just use as our base plate. There's 4, when you get the board game, you get, I think it's 40 or 45 scenarios, which is a lot.
Yeah, it's tons. It's a huge box.
If you play each side once, you got 90 battles, let's say. Okay. Right. The battle packs, we call them, on the digital game, only 10, give or take, between, let's say, 8 and 12 scenarios. It usually falls out about 10. So the same 40 scenarios would be 4 different battle packs for Normandy. So that's 4. You end up paying $40.
Okay.
The equivalent on the computer if you got all the scenarios.
Gotcha. Okay. So that's an even better bump, right? I mean, that's good for business, and it generates revenue, right? And allows you to put money back in the company. Now, how does that then tie into, or does that tie into in any way, shape, or form your P500 exercises and your Kickstarter exercises? Does that invest the money coming in? Does that generate more interest for your Kickstarter versions? Will you do different things with Kickstarters now that you've got a bigger digital footprint? How's that going to change?
We haven't done a Kickstarter since World of Wargaming 5 and Space Infantry, and the COVID is the main reason behind it. Right. I'm going to honestly say we've had roundtables about this, and we're not 100% sure. My biggest worry right now is actually being able to get the stuff from China.
Right.
If you look around, just talking to some of the guys in England, the board producers, I've talked to some people in Poland, I've talked to some people in France. They are, the shipping rates for a container has gone up almost $12,000.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, and it's not because of anything but availability. I mean, I've done multiple games over the decades shipping them from China. And I mean, no exaggeration, the game was done being printed. It was on a container, on a ship, heading to America before the Chinese publisher got to tell me it was on its way.
Right.
This last set of games, man, as you probably followed, Kev, with everybody else,
it was ships getting lost.
Oh, well, they gave me the wrong ship number. That's just stupidity, but we'll get to that later. The biggest problem was it literally hit every port in China because they filled that ship up to the tippity top, and then it sailed. They couldn't get it to LA. We had to get into Seattle. Then we had to get it off of the ship, which took a lot longer. That usually takes, to me, I've never waited more than 2 days. This was like over 2 weeks.
Yeah, but that's because you have unions even worse unions in Seattle than you do in LA, but that's a whole nother story. Anyway, carry on.
It sat on the dock And that's why I
Right.
sat on the. Then I went to the train station and
Right.
sat there. And then it wasn't too bad once I got to Indianapolis and got out of customs and onto a truck. But then I had to truck it. I mean, the shipping, well, I wouldn't say rival, but I bet you was over 30% of what the production cost was just to ship the shipping.
Damn.
So, I mean, I've looked into, but I don't want to waste the time buying my own printing stuff and just printing it here.
Right.
And I haven't found anyone capable of printing counters here to the quality that we do now. And the last 6 games, we bought the counters from China, and I flew the counters in. You know, and then because of COVID, we can't make boxes anymore in the warehouse because they don't want that many people that close.
Oh, geez.
So now we have to do Ziploc bags. We all do the Ziploc bags in the house, and then we have to go in, put the counters in there because the counters, as you know, pop out kind of easily. So we don't want to really jostle those two, and then they ship them out that way. So we've gone from boxes, which took me a hell of a lot of effort to get into, which they now sit in the warehouse wall doing nothing in order to, you know, ship new games out. And it also limits you because how much can you fit into a Ziploc bag? So
Crazy. Yeah.
yeah. So the shipping and the printing overseas is really the biggest deal. Until I work out what to do with the guys, I'm not sure what we're going to do. But as far as Kickstarter stretch goals and everything else, I don't think we're going to do a lot of stretch goals. I think what we're going to do is offer the game at the cheapest possible, lowest price point on Kickstarter if it goes to Kickstarter. Okay. And then we'll pre-order it, or we'll do pre-orders through the store. Our store system doesn't charge you anything until it's, you know, going into production. We used to wait till it was going into shipping, but it puts too much of a strain on the finances. So we'll probably go into production. But our goal is, I don't want to go the route of, hey, it's month 18. How's the game coming? You know, I don't want to do that.
Right. Yeah.
It took us longer to ship World at War 85 than it took us to print it. Just to give you an idea how off-centering that can be. And you know what? We actually are toying with a airline carrier that will take the games and fly them by pallets to the warehouse. So it'll take 10 to 15 days to get here. It will add some cost to the game, but who wants to spend $100 or whatever the cost might be for the game and wait a year? Seems a little ridiculous to me.
Right. Now, how does I guess what I was curious about with the Kickstarter or with the P500 is, because you've got this digital interest, will it come with digital game out of the box, so to speak, so that you'll get the boost, or have you thought about doing that and tying the two together that way?
Yeah, we won't. I don't see us doing that unless it's something like Lock and Load Tactical. To give you an example, Devin put together a great set of 6, I think it's 6 now, maybe it's 8 scenarios, with a small amount of counters called Battles to the Rhine. That will be on the computer maybe before we actually release the board game, or it looks like it'll be at the same time.
Right.
The reason that is because all the tools that the programmer and I needed is that when Devin's done a scenario, it can literally be play tested through the beta group, right through the computer game. If you have a brand new game, or someone's asking a trial of strength, we'll use that as an example. That has to be coded from scratch.
Right.
And for that to be coded, it's going to take 6, 8, 9 months and test it and blah blah blah. And that game doesn't. The likelihood of that game getting computerized is very slim because,
right,
in order for a programming team to make money, it has to have modules.
Right.
So trial of strength, that's one game, and maybe you can move it to the West Front, but that's a whole new design battle.
Right. Yeah.
We have Lock and Load Tactical or Normandy. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's not conducive, really, is it?
Right.
And is that, are you still planning on releasing that game?
Yeah, I mean, again, I would have released it early last year. I mean, we planned to do it in March or April last year, and when the COVID broke out, I didn't know what was going to happen with China and everything else. So we just paused. The whole thing's been paused since then. I mean, the game is done. The rules are done. I think we want to go over the rules one last time. Charts, tables, all the stuff's been done. It's been over a year now.
Yeah. It's a mess. I know with my job, it's crazy. We one of the ingredients we use in our product is vitamin D. And if you don't know what you're buying from China, when you buy vitamin D, you can pay $5,000 a pound, or you can pay $25 a pound, and they're two very different types of vitamin D, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Lord knows what's in the $25 a pound shit, but and we've just seen prices go through the roof on stuff. We got whacked, 30, 40 points. Then that kills margin when I've got to give 50 points to retail and pay to be on the shelf and all that stuff. So yeah, that's been a mess. So I totally understand. Yeah, and so how does that? So the digital stuff has been good too, I guess, for you, because it's helped you at least keep selling something, right? Until you can print again.
Yeah, for all the bad things that COVID was, I mean, we know some people who died from it, and not many, 2 or 3, but looking at all the local restaurants, I mean, Pueblo's a small place, relatively speaking. And these people are just, the stress that they must have trying to feed the families and stuff is astronomical.
Right.
When we saw that there really was going to be a lockdown, I have to give Tom Proudfoot, gentleman behind Lock and Load Tactical, and Philip Devine, and Daniel, I don't know his last name, who did the Nations at War series. They dropped everything and sped up programming so we can offer a low cost thing for people not to lose their minds, at least be able to do something.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, the board game sales didn't do as well. It started doing well, and then when people saw this was going to go on longer than 60 days, or things started to change.
Right.
So on that level, yes, it definitely was help. Okay, and I will be honest with you, no one knows this, but today we had a staff meeting with the programmers at the Nations at War, and you guys did a really good job supporting that, and World at War 85 is now scheduled to be done. Same team. They're going to start with the starter kit, and that'll be coming out soon. So yeah, it's a combination. Do you know what actually picked up more percentage-wise than the computer games? The books.
The books, really?
Yeah, the books really took off. The audio books took off more than the paperbacks, which I was kind of surprised. But I listen to audiobooks much more than I read.
Yeah, audio books are a thing. Yeah, I'm not into them, but well, not yet anyway. I can still see. So as long as I can adjust the size of the font on the Kindle, I'm okay to read. So yeah. All right. So that's interesting. So if we didn't have COVID, right? How would you typically go about publishing publish print a war game today? And I'm sorry for using the word war game. What I meant was historical simulation.
You need a board game. I'm okay. I'm not crazy. War game lives matter. Come on.
Exactly. All right.
Our process of doing it, we basically get designs in, okay, or we ask somebody, hey, would you like to make a design? A lot of it, I like to use guys who, in some ways, haven't designed a game before, because I think there are a lot of the, step 1, step 2, step 3 is not with them.
Yeah.
And we have someone like a Devin or Sean Drillinger or any of those people to guide them. It gives them the link. It gives them the protection they need without having to stifle them.
Right.
And
right.
They give us the design stuff, and they give us the charts and tables. Everything we do is on templates now. We have all these templates, and we hand it to the guys and say, listen, we don't care if you're using crayons. We don't care if you use spreadsheets. You just tell us what you need data-wise. It then goes to one of our graphic artists. Blackwell Hurd is our main guy, but we use about 4 or 5 others. And he gives you samples back. And, between the designer and us, we say, hey, that sucks. That doesn't look good. That looks great.
Right.
Why are you using pink on a tank? Things like that. and it gets changed. The same thing with the map. And then it goes, we don't show it to any final people around. We keep certain people away from it on purpose. Devin's usually that poor guy gets victimized with that. He's not allowed to look at anything till we think it's perfect. And then now we give it to Devin and 2 or 3 other people, and then they try to find mistakes and errors or that doesn't make sense to me. I definitely think it's improved the quality of it. Once all that's done, it goes to the printer. That printer could be China. Printer could also be our own. We have our own in-house printers, but they're limited in scope and size.
Right. You have a map size. Map size limits is one of them, isn't it?
The 2 biggest limits we have are the map. I mean, if we do the whole map in-house, it can't be bigger than I think it's. Don't quote me on this. I think it's 19 by 13, or maybe it's 18.5 by 13. I can't remember the exact size, but that's pretty much limitations there. And then the other thing is the counters. And this is not to knock any particular company, but man, the counters that come in magazine games or come in some of these board games that are printed here are just crap. The sticky pulls up off the chipboard. It's thin stuff. But I understand why you need like 100-pound pressure press to die cut counters, and those things are just a tad bit expensive. So
I think I have a person chasing a dog behind me.
I saw someone go by. Do you know if it's inside or outside?
It's a rodent. It's a rodent.
Oh, you just got a cat down here.
Okay, there we go. Excellent.
Sorry.
Keeping production levels at high quality and just keeping it real at Sharp House.
I thought it was one of your groupies, Dev. I thought it was one of your groupies. It was okay.
Yeah. She's hot enough to be a groupie. Just close the door. Let me turn the heat off a little bit. I tend to run with this. It gets super hot down here, and then it gets cold, and it's just not good. We need to renovate the downstairs. So anyway, all right. I have no idea where we were. We talked about groupie chicks.
Just the reduction.
Oh, the counters, right? The counters being expensive to make, right?
I mean, round figure counters to print here in the States after you pay for shipping is somewhere between $3 to $3.50 a counter sheet. Okay, and you have to gang it up with certain other counter things. Most of the times we print in China. I mean, we're probably doing it for anywhere between 50 cents and $1.
Right.
And even flying it over here, okay, which is not cheap, okay, but flying it over here, it's still less money than printing it on lesser quality chipboard and shipping it from East Coast or West Coast to, Colorado, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I wonder why that is. Is that just that industry has atrophied over time, and that they've lost the skill and they don't have the ability to, or it's the scale issue, or what's the story, do you think?
I don't think there's a lot of need for that type of die cutting here. Right. I mean, I have a very hard time. I know one company back east that dies cuts. They do a great job. I mean, they're not bad, but they have a lot of limitations to
right.
How you can print something and the thickness and all that. And everybody else, they kind of want you to put stickers on it, and it can't be barely half as thick as the counters that we print now. Our counters are, I think it's 2 millimeters. I mean, I don't know. Blackwell has a little thing that measures it, but if you take a lock and load counter sheet from us, and even from some other company, you'll see the difference. I mean, they're not thick at all. Plus, we also make it more difficult because we're making the counters pre-rounded, and we separate them, and right. So the cutting actually, and so you can blame this on us, the cutting actually has to be more powerful because they're individual cuts and they're not using the same cut groove.
Right.
So you need more power to get through that.
Right.
So yeah, I would say it's an unpracticed art here, and for the companies that do it, they want you to make 20, 30,000 counters. I mean, what war game do you know that makes 20, 30,000 pieces at a time?
Right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Look, I just got to deal with the peanut gallery here for a second here because I got. Let's just deal with this knucklehead first up. So Mitchell and like the cheesy background. I'm on my work laptop, champ. So I can't have war games in the background. Number two, that's my deck. I'm waiting for the snow to melt. But thank you for the insightful comment, peanut gallery. Number one. Let's see. Oh, and of course, Mo. You can always rely on Mo. Man, of course. Thank you so very much. There's a lot of smart ass comments in here, actually. Here we go.
I got one for you. Mo just sent me this. Somebody asked, I don't know who it is. I don't know if you see this one, about a coupon code. Someone in the chat is asking about a coupon code. Did you give them out already? I don't know what the coupon code he's talking about is or what it's for. I'm going to take a guess. The coupon code is for War Diary.
War Diary.
Okay, that basically what happens is, if I'm not mistaken, it's done on an individual basis. So someone registers for just a subscription for War Diary. I think it's a year, and they'll get a coupon code to use to get a free game. If it's a different type of coupon code, all I can tell you is, if you lost it, Darren should be able to find it for you, and just open up a support ticket, which is now working fully, and just tell him what it is and what you lost, and he'll do his best to find you. He'll be able to tell you if it was used or not. So hopefully that'll clear that up.
I think that system's changed now, because when I first subscribed to War Diary, at one point you guys got involved, and there was a pick a game, print and play game or something like that, and there was a discount on it or whatever. And I think I went round and round with the guys on it, and I went, you know what? I don't really need the game that bad. So it was just all good, So I didn't worry about it, but I haven't looked at the new. I've got to re-up my subscription. In fact, I'm on my last issue. So I'll check out how that works, and we can report back to everybody that it does indeed work or not work, as the case may be. So. But anyway, okay, so that's interesting. So let's go back to talking about the digital stuff, because. So do you want to do games that are off of the series at all? Do you have any aspiration to do that, or are you just gonna do what you've been doing lately and just surprise the shit out of everybody with your, we're doing a fleet game? Do I need to start watching your 3-hour diatribes on the weekend so I keep abreast of all this stuff? Is that being talked about a lot, or are you just throwing that shit out there? What's going on?
We actually have an active design. I'm going to say probably close to being done. Okay. A lot of the stuff we've been working on for a while. I'm not a big fan of telling people, hey, we're working on this, and 6 months later or 8 months, a year later, yeah, we're almost ready to play test.
Because then you get the questions like trial of strength.
Exactly. And it goes on and on. And I have a problem with the trial of strength. There's a special case to that, and people can ask me those type of questions all the time. Yeah. But some games, I won't, they just don't work sometimes. Or sometimes it sounds cooler than it is, or vice versa, maybe, And, give an example. I think, Kev, you played Red Line, Blackwell Space Game.
Yeah.
That game on, that was what, 7 years ago? Yeah. So, it just, Blackwell and I weren't happy. We couldn't get it to a state that we felt it was fun. Right. So we put it to the side. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to come back to it. We may never come back to it. We've obviously released different games since then. So it's a matter of just, people comfortable.
Such an asshole. Yeah. Anyway.
So
I'm sorry.
But the basically what we do, we sat down and we said, what type of games do we want to play? And when we say what type of games we want to play, we said, wouldn't it be great to be able to play something in the World War 85 universe that covers naval and air? And then, of course, the next thing everyone does is, well, what was your favorite game like that? I guess one of mine would be the Fleet series.
Yeah.
Victory games. And then we said, well, we like the mechanism where you have to activate things. So we might put that in the game. Right now, I think it's going to be in the game, but I don't know. I know Devin had a little chat with the programmer, and we're going to have him on our show and talk to him about what the design's about. But We're up to the point now of going from a playtest map to actually production maps now and
Nice.
counters. So that's why we threw the box out there. And part of the reason is too, I like having the fans, if you want to call them now, the customers, buddies, whatever, friends, give the 2 cents, and so like the name Northern Flotilla, I wasn't really thrilled with that.
Yeah.
But I liked it coming from the Soviet side compared to all the fleet games I can find are on the NATO side of things.
Right.
And I also thought it might be a little confusing with old Sixth Fleet or Second Fleet, new Second Fleet. I think Compass is doing a remake of that. And I like the idea too of we've had some authors come out of the woodworks who want to write some books for us, and keeping it all within the same storyline, even if they're not jointly tied into each other.
Right. But that's cool though, right? Yeah. That's
I
fun.
like that type of stuff. I like the idea. I can go in the car, listen to an audiobook on something I'm interested in, and play a game on it. And I like putting people like you in the story and, just having fun with it, man.
Never a good idea.
Oh, come on. You did great in the folder got with the tanks. Come on.
Yeah, I actually need to read the rest of the series. I read the first couple, so I need to dig in and see what's going on. And hey, Kat, come on, man.
Nothing but critters, right, Kev?
Dude, my wife has taken this adopting animals thing a little too far at the moment. We've got 4 dogs, 2 cats, and 4 chickens at the moment, and I'm just every time I turn around, I'm tripping over an animal. But anyway,
we're down to 2 dogs and 3 kids, and I told her that's the limit. I said I get a concubine long before you get another pet.
See, now that's something that maybe I need to throw into the mix and just say, okay, any more pets, I'm picking up one of these. Well, so I guess we got a question here. Julio wants to know if you're playing anything currently. So I guess that's probably an appropriate question. If you are, you're probably playtesting, right?
Actually, I don't do a lot of playtesting. I like to look at the game when it's done. The thing I won't say play tested, but I just reviewed last night was the final to Battles to the Rhine, Blocking the Tactical, Devon's new add-on.
Right.
We are looking at, let me see, I'm trying to think what the last thing I played was. I have to tell you, I went on a major gaming buying spree. I brought like $700 worth of board games.
Did you really?
Yeah, I really did. I just bought all these board games. I'm trying to think. The last board game I played outside of the computer. Oh, you know what I played? I played Sean Young's chariot racing game.
Oh yeah. Okay.
No one knows this, but I'll say so now. We signed that series. It's Sean Young's game. I really enjoyed that. And Black was trying to get me to play some type of Lord of the Rings game. I haven't done that yet. Actually, my wife, so she might be able to get a pet over this, bought me a Samsung 49-inch monitor.
Ooh, nice.
The curved one. So it came today. It's sitting on the game table out there, so I'm going to have to do that later. So I'm probably going to play a little bit more computer games in the very near future to see how well it works. But I played. Damn, I had all these games on my table. Oh, not Worthington. Worthington's Zulu game. I got the new one of that.
Oh, okay. The Rourke's Drift or whatever it's called.
Yeah, man. I tell you, they did a beyond exceptional job with that. Yeah. Have
you played Herman Luttman's the Pickett's Charge game, the solo game? Yeah, that's a good little game. You should try that. It's good.
Write that down.
Yeah. I think it's a Worthington game as well, if I recall. I'm not sure. I'm sure one of the master geniuses from the Peanut Gallery will know what we're talking about here.
Yeah. I bought a lot of older games. One of the things we're working on, I don't know if it's ever going to get done, guys. So I'm telling you this now. I'm just, in the spirit of conversation, we're working on a new flat top game.
You keep talking. I'll be back. God damn it.
Okay, buddy. So we're working on a flat top game. I'll try to answer any of your questions here. When Kev's out there. Let's see. Yeah, I bought more than 8 war games. I bought quite a bit, actually. Some of them were old SPI games. Some of them were new games. Let's see what else we have there.
Well, if we lose our connection, it's my fault. The cat has knocked over the router and the Wi-Fi, which this thing is connected to, and I'm too afraid to pick them up in case it all disconnects. So we're just going to leave it sit hanging as it is.
Somebody's wife wants a goat. What is it? A goat and a teacup piglet. You know, my wife wanted one of those teacup piglets, and I told her no unless I get the bacon out of it, and that put an end to that.
That's great. That's great. In Magnificent Style, that's what it is. Worthington Games. That's what the game's called. The Pickets Charge thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool game. Well, look. So I was asking about the digital stuff. So you think you probably try and then get the fleets, we'll call it the fleet series, the tortilla series, the flotilla series. We'll try and get that into digitized format too.
Yes, the games that we're working on, again, I say working on because got to get a programming guy. A lot of guys come to me and say, oh, yeah, I want to program this. And then they realize, man, this is work.
Right.
And they drop out, or it's just something that's not up their alley. Space Infantry Resurgence, the card game. Mm-hmm. We're looking for someone to make us a card game engine to use with that, and to make a computer version of Point Blank.
Okay?
Right. Right now, being programmed by Nathan, who is the designer of Space Infantry Federation. We are making what we call a line of defense computer game series. We signed a couple of games, I think 3 games, maybe 4 games from John Walsh, who actually Worthington just did 2 of their games. They're all in the old State of Siege type of design.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We signed Constantinople, which I don't think was ever actually printed. I think the designer from England, he did print it himself. And we're signing, we also signed some of the, we're working on details to sign some games from Charles Taylor. They're all Victory Point Games guys.
Okay.
But we're trying to do, I guess, a little bit in series. So the programmer gives us the first one, and then DLCs come out for all the other ones. So that's what we're seeing now.
That's pretty cool. That's interesting. Interesting approach. And I had a question, and now it's gone. I hate when that happens. All right. Well, no, gone again. Never mind. It's getting harder to do anything, really. Being cooped up in the house like this, I have no concentration whatsoever. All right. So with let me see, the Fleet Series, John Walsh, State of Siege games. No, I can't remember what the hell I was going to ask you. Let me see if we can find something useful to ask from out of this group, and maybe while we do that, I will remember what the hell I was going to ask you. Mitchell says Istanbul, trying to be funny, I assume, because Constantinople used to be, is now Istanbul. Yeah.
You know,
I got it. I know what it is. I know what it is. What's going on with the space infantry universe / lock and load tactical in space? Anything?
We have the counter sheets printed for that. Okay, we have the rules done. I'm going to say that Blackwell and I weren't happy with the maps, so that's going to go back and get redrawn. I think we're going to add a counter sheet to it. It's going to be a module, will not be a standalone game. So you'll have to own something
from lock and load.
Lock and load. Actually, you know, it's funny. It really has everything in it because it even has admin counters, but it won't have the core rules, which we're not going to really be putting in the games going forward anyway.
Yeah. I don't even know why you would, right? I mean, it just adds weight, and it's the bazillion pages and whatnot. So, and you can
we might put
got one, right?
Yeah. The problem is the shipping is going out the roof, guys. I mean, ask you to publish this. It's going out the roof. They had two rates of all shipping in the last, I'm going to say 4 months. Two rates, not one, takes two. And adding that rule book in, and you guys buy 3 copies of Lock and Load Tactical, and God bless you. But you want to pay for 3 manuals that are 200, 300 pages. I mean, it adds quite a bit of space to it.
Right.
Oh, wait, excuse me. So I get some kickback about, oh, no manual, I won't buy the game. Guys, you're gonna have to compromise someone with this. Either you're gonna pay all this money in shipping, and then don't bitch about that, which to me seems to be a lot more wasted money to buy multiple copies of something you can download for free,
right?
Buy once and be done with it.
Or you can buy it from the website one time, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. You can just buy it once, download it yourself. And some people have told me they need to go to work, and during lunchtime they're copying it on the company's printer. And,
who would ever do that?
I would have done it.
but that is the point, though. You can buy the rule book separately, so it's not like you don't have access to it. You can either download it or you can buy it in print format. Don't know why you would want to do that if you've got the PDF, but I mean, I'm fortunate enough I have a copy, but because I just tactile person, but that's okay.
Look at it this way: if it's a game you play all the time, I would want a copy. I like it spiral bound. You can flip it back. If it's a little bit, and you're playing with someone else who already knows, why spend the money, guys? I mean, I'm the publisher telling you this, so either I'm stupid or why spend the money? Get another module, add something that you would enjoy playing.
Right, exactly. Let's see. Well, I think so. I was curious about the digital side of things, about how you would normally handle the P500 things. I think that kind of covers that. Was there anything that you wanted to share with the crew? It's probably the same motley bunch of bastards that you talk to every week anyway, but is there anything you wanted to share that's sort of company news that makes sense, and we can let you go have dinner and do your thing?
The biggest thing we got the green light to do today was World at War 85 on the computer. I think that's going to be big. I think the gamers are going to love that. The crew who did Nations at War have finished converting the game engine to Unity, which will make a big difference in getting things out the door, and possibly seeing an iPad version. Atlanta's almost done. Yeah, I got that sitting right behind me there, buddy. Blackwell and Roy have been going back and forth, laying out the snares, if I'm not mistaken, today. You should see that.
That's a reprint, right? That's from and a very, very old.
Yeah, I think his name is Don Lowe's, I think his name is.
Yeah, and wasn't it either a limited print run or a print and play? I forget.
I don't know. I only know of it thanks to Roy. It's very unique design. I have to say, it's fun to play.
Well, that's cool. Okay.
Roy, type in here, buddy. Type.
And here's Jeff. Hey, Jeff. Good to see you, bud.
Hey, Jeff.
Look at all the
there
guys.
He is. Oh, that's right. The Pouncer House magazine, Guderian Games. I knew who he was.
That's right. Okay. Good. Excellent. Yeah. Well, so that's pretty cool. Okay. And so was that a? I'm just trying to be respectful, A, of your time, and B, of all the short attention span peanut gallery here. So, but
that's the newest thing. You're gonna, like I said, you're gonna see a lot of we'll say Ziploc bag games. It would have been in a box normally, guys, but like I said, due to COVID and stuff, the warehouse is restricting what we can do. There's a Trenton game, a Princeton game. One of the games, Roy and I decided to delay a bit. We wanted to change something around we didn't like. So one of those, two of those, I think it's Princeton, but I could be wrong. That's coming right down the thing. The Atlanta game is any day now. The Space Infantry, probably still a few months away, but it's definitely coming. There's also what do we call it? Hold on. We got the count yesterday. It is called Give me 1 second. I gotta find my stupid notes. This is why I can't get. I'm sorry. This is the crap I keep all over the place. I'm trying to find where I name something.
That's great.
It's going to be called Lock and Load Tactical Zombies: The Unknown War.
Zombies: The Unknown War. What the hell is that about?
We had a zombie. I think part of the design was from Ralph Ferrari. Part of the design was from me, from a different system. And zombies kind of move very, set directions. It's not thinking tactics, And I don't know if you've ever played Noville. There's a scenario in Noville that's solitaire, that the units can move a certain way. And we found a way we thought we could work on that. So basically you get Nazi zombies. If you're a Call of Duty fan, I'm sure you've heard of that. So
Yeah, sure.
We have Nazi zombies. We have zombies that could take place with any other module. So you can have the zombies fighting the Soviets. You could have, we even have a rule in there where the Americans are fighting the Germans in scenarios and they can turn into zombies.
Ah, nice. Okay. Fun times. Fun times. Yeah, I think I played the zombie one, zombie scenario from Day of Heroes that took some of the zombie, because I had square hexes, square map, and so that worked really well with zombies, and it had zombies from some other game. I forget what it was, but
these are all counters, and we also added something that looks similar to Natifa. I'm not going to say exactly Natifa, but it's something like that. So you can have a modding flair to it as well. And then we added in there some counters for, I'm just going to say Group A and Group B. Okay, so they're just civilians,
right,
kind of fighting away in a zombie apocalypse. And again, it really was done. We got some new guys in there to test their design skills and something that was meant to be fun. It's something with space infantry,
That's very cool. Very cool. Well, man, thank you for hanging out and sharing a little bit about the kind of the background on production and your efforts with that merging of the digital and the physical. I think it's a really cool effort, and I hope it continues to go well. It's been good chatting.
Yeah, you too, buddy. Thank you for having me.
All right, and adios, peanut gallery.
We did it, guys.
Let me, whoops, wrong button. There we go.